Hi guys, how y'all doing? And welcome back
Oh,
to
hello,
Adventure with
hello,
Nubs.
hello.
Oh, this is Adventures with shit. Hold on, I gotta go.
Oh, hi Charmaine,
Hi, Charmaine. Hi,
Bud
Bud.
Files. Who else we got in the house? We got old Sean 12 a.m. Hey buddy,
Diva
Diva.
Paranormal.
my sister
Pops.
Diva, Pops. How y'all doing? Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. That's why we were waiting here live.
Yeah, Nubs had to shave his beard.
Yeah, I shaved it and it just grew back out of nowhere.
That damn chia pet that he's got on his chin.
I am the animal from the Muppets, so.
Well, let's just say what really happened. See, Dom got his hand stuck in a mayonnaise jar.
Yeah,
And
again.
we had to call the local whatever authorities they have in Canada. And when they showed up,
It's ambulance and police here.
yeah, and they showed up and they were like, "How'd you get your hand in the mayonnaise jar?" And he said he was looking for a ghost in the mayonnaise jar, and they offered to commit him and get him a nice hug me jacket. But they did get the mayonnaise jar off.
Thank God.
They asked me for the choice of color. I choose black. So I still don't have it because they
That's a
have to.
custom order.
Yeah, so I'll probably have it in the next couple of days.
Sweet. I
Get
want
one with your
pictures.
logo on it. You need to get one with your logo on the back of it. That'd be a cute little hug me jacket.
But seriously, I do want a straight jacket. I'm looking for that, but to put in my collection. If I do get one, I will take your suggestion. I will put my logo on it.
There you go. We lost Hensley. We don't know where he is.
I'm still here.
Hensley's there.
Lost Hensley. Shush.
What up, Dakota?
He's there. He's there somewhere.
He is not in the
Dakota's
basement,
here?
I promise.
Dakota's here?
Dakota?
Isn't he supposed to be in
Dakota.
bed?
Aren't you supposed to be on panel?
No, he's in bed. He's got like a little cup of pudding and Oreos. He's watching like Pokemon, and I'm just
Dude, if you're watching Pokemon, I'm on my way over. I want to watch Pokemon.
I want to watch Pokemon too.
Hey, Sean 12 a.m.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
So we've got some really good topics for tonight.
We do. We're going to talk about if spirit animals are real, and if so, what is your spirit animal? Can humans cross portals? We'll find out. And different opinions about burial grounds. Those are the three main topics. And then are past lives real? Because I hear people talking about their different past lives and all that. So we're going to talk about that and the different types of lights you use on investigations. Like, I know a lot of people. We'll start off with the lights one. What kind of lights people use? Oh God, Hensley Paranormal's in the chat. Ugh. I mean,
who's that guy? I don't know that guy. Who is he?
Hensley, what lights do you use on investigations?
Yes, Hensley.
I'm having issues with my phone. I can't hear nobody. I might have to go out and come back in.
All right.
Okay. We'll be here.
So Jen, you want to go?
Oh, I don't want to go, but no, I'm just kidding. I use a flashlight and my thoughts and prayers. No, I have I don't know what the name of the damn light is. Fluff has a glow cube that we use a lot on investigations, but we also do use flashlights, because most of the time it's dark and we like to keep it dark because he has the night vision camera. So we don't use too terribly much light. But I have some really cool long range telescopic flashlights that work really well. And for filming, we usually will use just like whatever light source we have on our rigs, shit we got off of Amazon or whatever. But the glow cube we like for, you know, that thing illuminates really, really well. And like sometimes we'll set up if we need ambient lighting for whatever reason, filming, which we usually don't do. We'll stage lighting, you know, with some portable lighting somehow. Okay. But other than that, that's lighting's not the. And you have our headband light. What's now yours? It's
now. What? It's actually. I thought it was just. Oh my goodness!
No, you can switch it. You didn't realize that?
No, I thought it was just black light or like the red light the whole time.
No, it switches. It switches.
Dude, that makes it easy.
He's gonna have a toy to play all night.
Now he's gonna play with his headlamp.
Because the other ones, I lost my other ones somehow, or some. I think I left them in a buddy's house. That's exactly what I did.
Well, now it's been replaced.
This one's high tech. $5,000. No,
dude, we paid like $15 for that.
You just got busted.
See, this is what I usually use: headlights. I use that because you can have the black light type, the red light on it. You can have the regular light. You can have all of that. So that's what I just use, or I use my little. I got a little. Here it is.
See, the headlamps are great if you're exploring in places where you need to have your hands free.
Yeah.
Especially like all I can remember, and when I was not little, but like novice, you know, paranormal person, I used to call them the Catacomb Lights because that's what you would wear, you know, going through like the catacombs or whatever, because you'd keep your hands free to kind of climb through shit.
Yeah.
So for some reason, like that's all it reminds me of. It's like that in caverns, caves, anything like that, where you need to have your hands available to grab or anything or stabilize yourself. You have that availability for that. But I always, for some reason, be like, "Where's my catacomb light?" That's what I'm referring to.
And when I'm outside and it gets dark and we're out there playing Magic or something, I just grab a headlight and we can cut the red light on and it works just fine and it keeps the bugs away and all that too. I like to use it for, of course, paranormal and when I go out and investigate. But a lot of places like Road 666, there's houses all over the road, so you can't really have too much light while you're walking down there, anyways. Because first of all, the houses, some of them are like right there on the road too. So I mean, you're walking there 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden, you just like AJH, good seeing you. But yeah, that's what. And like, there's some places that have, like, some abandoned houses have like where there's houses like right next door. Or right beside them, and you don't really want it. I mean, even if it has no trespassing sign, you still don't want the neighbors to call the cops and have the cops show up and explain what's going on and all that. Even if you're not doing nothing wrong, it's still the cop will look at you, and you have to be careful with that. So you just have to be careful with lights and all that. Like, so a headlight's perfect because you can easily cut it on and cut it off. Like, it's just perfect. For it. Oh, we got Hensley back. There we go. But yeah, that's
Hensley. Where have you been?
I got lost.
You got lost.
You didn't have lights?
You're supposed to make a left, not a right.
And then I use my little St. Albans Sanitarium. It takes one AA battery, and it's okay. Like, that's what I carry around with me for an extra light. Like, this was only like $3 too when I got it at St. Albans. They sold it $3.
Did I ever buy you a laser grid pen?
I want one.
I got one.
We have a couple of them.
That is something that. What did you say, sis?
I said we do use those at investigations. We have the green one, the red one, and a purple one.
We used it at the Airbnb.
Yep.
Which that will be out Saturday night after Hensley's live stream.
And I do suggest if you end up hearing like your Estes methods, if you can. I mean, granted, if it's in a dark enough area, because it's kind of interesting to see. Because we noticed it when Shani did it, some of the dots like really fading in specific patterns.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a whole row would go dim or whatever, just specifically, and it's like, you know, you never know if that is activity manifesting or anything like that. But during the Estes method, when she's like in so much of a trance, it was a huge possibility. So it was really cool to see that happen from us being spectators.
Yeah.
What she was witness or what she was going through, and not to have spoilers, but just the end of that investigation. You guys, like, it's amazing. Like what happened. Like even Nubs can tell you that was a first for him, and just the intelligent responses and what happened at the end. It was awesome.
It was really intense, guys. Like the Ouija board session was.
The Ouija board session is going to be funny because of me jumping every time the damn spirit box went off.
Yeah, because the spirit box was going off while we were doing it, and we had
so much going on. We had so much going on. We had like spirit boxes. We had the Ouija board, and all of a sudden, like it would Ghost Tube would say a word, and I'm like, ah, shit.
I can't wait for y'all to see it because it was definitely one of the best investigations I've done.
And that house was just the backstory because it was an Airbnb, like it's a haunted house that they Airbnb, like he doesn't like perpetuate it as haunted as it is. He's just like, I can't do much with it. Like people won't live in it, so he uses it as an Airbnb. And if you can survive more than one night in it, you know, props to you. But we stayed there for 2 nights. Like we had to get an extra night. We were like, no, for shit, we're gonna get another night. So we stayed there. He's like, you guys are brave. And that second night was when like all the magic happened. And then I caught the Rona.
Yeah, we all caught the Rona.
I was gonna say a lot of people at that reunion caught that,
but it was worth it.
It was. Well, some people didn't get as sick, and some of us got like me, who got like really sick.
Yeah, she got. Whew.
I got it probably that I know of the worst, but I have underlying health conditions that, you know, it makes everything worse. So I probably wouldn't have gotten as sick if I had been more healthier. But yeah, it was funny because that last night when we did all that, it was so intense and you could feel the energy. Like it was insane. And then the next day I thought at first, I was like, was it just because I've drained my energy from what happened last night? So I wasn't kind of sure. Like I was like, am I sick from that, or am I sick from like what I call ghost sick, which happens if you have like, a lot of people describe it as attachment. But if you have where they've pulled so much, and Dom, you know about this, where they pull so much energy from you that you will literally look like you have the symptoms of the flu. And that's what I kind of thought it might have been, because it didn't feel like Rona at first.
I got knocked like that for 3 days coming from a big investigation. I thought I had caught a flu because we were outside and stuff. And after 3 days, I got up. I was like nothing had to happen. But yeah.
Oh, it's the fluvis.
See, I didn't feel it.
No, I am not the flu. I was gonna say your mama's the flu, but that would be bad. No, you're the flu.
we was out filming where the Hunger Games, the first Hunger Games movie was filmed and all that, and the first video was fine. Then the second after the tour, I was filming, and all of a sudden, I just got weak out of nowhere. Like it just hit me like that, and I was just like, "Whoa." I think I got it. I think I got it.
Lee with his fucking with his damn mask.
Yep, he
saved him. He literally didn't get sick because he wore his mask. The same mask that he was That was like the best trip ever, though.
It was.
I would have. I've been sick since the trip. I'd do it all over again. I wouldn't care. I
I
go through
don't
all
see. I
that
don't do
already.
mama jokes. I do stuff about my own mama jokes. I talk about my own mama.
You were talking about laser grid. I have
Oh,
this bad boy. Well,
oh,
actually, if you look close,
oh.
it's for a stage lightning.
Yeah, those are like what DJs use and stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have one
This
like that too. I prefer
this
those because you can plug them in.
this on eBay you'll get it for about $10, 10, $15. You hook it up on a small tripod, and you get yourself a small charger, and you make a plug, and you'll have a full a better. I think they make a better laser grid than the
They do.
pens. The pens, they go out
The
quickly.
pens are nice for like on the fly stuff where you don't have an electrical source.
Mhm.
But if you have an ability for electricity, those all day long, they're
But
not gonna fade. They're not
this
gonna
one,
they're not
this
gonna
one
fade
can.
with battery surges.
This one, I put a battery pack attached to it, so I don't need like a plug inside, so I can use
Right.
my own battery pack to use it. So I could use it way like a little bit better than the pen. But you're right, a pen is like quick done. You need it like right now. That's the best thing. A pen. A pen.
Well, see, the only problem I've ever had with the pens is that spirits can drain those, just like anything else with a battery. They can drain those so they'll dim. The lights will dim, and you'll think there's something going on. It could just be like the battery's browning out, and especially if you're in a location that gets extremely cold, extreme hot, like we were talking about that one night.
You can find them on eBay. There's certain pens now you can get them with USB 5-volt charge, so you can bring a battery pack. But
the one that you're showing, I have one.
Yeah,
and
this one,
the laser grid on it is so good and crisp for a long range. Like I could put that on the side of a building.
I put that in a hallway, a long hallway, and everything's gonna be spotted.
So if you're like in a jail and you want to get a long hallway, those are perfect.
That's the first place I used it. This actually was the first time I used it was in a jail to do a grid. I had like 4 pens to do the whole, like just one part of the cell, and this one completely lit up the whole section of the cells. It does an amazing job.
See, that's an example of getting creative. Like, don't just buy the equipment that everybody else bought because I went to GhostTube and I bought this one and everybody has to have the one from GhostTube, right? It might not be the best option. If you investigate it a little bit further and you're like, hey, I can get a high-powered grid laser for a couple bucks more from like the DJ surplus store, and you know it's meant to light a dance floor. It's going to have long, good range and some strength. Go ahead and get that one. Get real creative with your lighting and your tools.
The other thing I use, well, everybody knows about those brackets, but it's also hooked on a tripod. But I have a light, and it's
those lights are good too.
I have one just like that.
And you also
me too.
You also can change the panels in front.
Yeah.
So you can put
RBGs.
it. Yeah, you can put it to let's say a red pattern or a green pattern to light up a little bit to give you not to
I'll be right back.
Your camera, but it's gonna light up the room a different color. So
right, I use those for ambient lighting.
Yeah, that's it.
I think they're what, $25 on Amazon.
Those one,
I don't remember what I paid for mine.
Yeah, about $25. I think maximum you're gonna pay for those types of lights. But actually, if you're walking in a let's say a small cemetery and you have a small gate like this light is the only light you're gonna be needing on that type of investigation, because it's gonna give you the nice amount of light, not too shiny, not to bother people around.
And they do dim. So
yeah.
Because some people are like, oh, that's a huge light to have in a cemetery, and they're right. You won't get caught if you have that thing at full capacity, but they can dim down too.
And like Nubsy says, headlights, I have a couple of those in my backpacks, flashlights.
Yeah, I got one of headlamps.
I have the military grade, which is called on eBay or Amazon. They're called MX Creed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those are excellent flashlights you can get. They have them in UV. They have them in infrared and also regular, and they're about $7 a pop. They do amazing good job. The battery stays there for a long, long time, so you won't be except if you get drained by spirits. That's the thing. The other thing we use, well
that
actually,
happens. Yeah.
this one I just realized it's REM pod. This one, but we use lanterns like this one, but this one is a modified there to be a REM pod. It's not the good one I took out, but
Nice.
we do use that to walk in woods and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
lanterns are like the campfire ones, camp style ones.
Yeah.
You can get a 2-pack for like $18, I think, on Amazon.
Those ones are $12.
Yeah.
A regular ones.
They're cheap,
and-
but they're long range and they last. Especially the ones that are done with rechargeable. Those do last, but if you can get the battery ones, it's just easier because you can always carry spare batteries with you.
Yeah. The other thing I use with my cameras, those are ER lights. Those are I did them myself with a dimmer on them. So depends on what I'm. Usually I use those with small cameras like this.
I gotta keep my cameras just like that.
They go.
I got one. I need a light for mine like that.
Behind you have a small bracket. This is something I did myself. I could explain to you guys how to do them. A light like this is gonna cost you about maybe $10 to build. They sell them on eBay for 60, 70.
You know what? You need to start selling your modified lights.
Yeah.
Oh, me?
You do,
Yeah.
because things like that'll hook to your like GoPros and stuff like that.
This is exactly the good camera. Well, actually, this one is a little bit bigger for the GoPro, as you can see.
Hey, Colleen.
Those cameras, I do modify them to put them in ER mode. They're about $15 a pop for a camera. I do have some 4Ks that go for maybe $25-$30 that I do modify, and then I put a light like this. And this, seriously, in let's say a room 8x10, you have to dim your light because it's way too strong. This lights, so this is something I can do. I have also those kinds of lights. Those are two mixed lights. Those are UV and ER. I like those kinds of lights to film with ER cam.
Yeah,
because you're gonna get the night vision or the
infrared.
ER, the infrared. You're gonna get the ambience light with the blue lights if you don't need them. But
well, if you have an infrared camera, you have to have that kind of lighting. Otherwise, it'll just your contrast won't be right. And you're gonna
have when you see ER and you see like a wrong spot, that's because your lighting is not proper or adequate for the camera. So this is one type of lights, and we also use what we call is a green light. Like Jen was saying, for ambience, it works good with a camera. If you don't have ER light, it's gonna work amazing with a regular Sony camera to do investigation. So if you have a small budget, get yourself a small light like this to start, and you're gonna be top shape with a regular camera. And say you can dim on the camera to start. Then when you have the budget, you upgrade your equipment and stuff. So yeah,
I got one of those little 4K cameras, but I can't use it at night because it don't have no light.
Well, I'll give you the trick to do those ones, Hensley, if you want, and
during the day it's all pink.
It's really, it's gonna.
Mine ain't pink. Mine looks good during daytime, but it's just like I went to Moundsville and I took my little camera like that, and I couldn't record nothing because I was gonna leave it set. I was gonna leave it set in the cell and let it run, and I went back to get it, and you couldn't see nothing on video at all.
That's the reason why I'm doing small gigs like this, is to leave them in a room to be able to, let's say like you said, a prison, and you know that on this floor you have cell number 1, 3, and 7. You can't be in every place at the same time.
Yeah.
So you can leave parts of the equipment there. What I tend to do is put a small rig like this with a recorder on it, lights, and cameras on both sides. Actually, this rig, I'm gonna modify it to put this camera on it, which is full spectrum and ER at the same time on the camera. So you'll have the same thing, but in infrared and full spectrum.
Nice.
So this is going to be modified real soon to be able to adapt the other camera on it.
What's up, Fluffy? I got me a trail cam too, so I went and bought a trail cam.
I heard those are pretty good to have too.
Yeah, because you can just mount them and then let them go, and if anything walks by, it's gonna take a picture or video.
I'll try to find them. Nubsy, I'll send you the pictures we got on a trail cam in Fort Henry in Kingston, Ontario. It's a military fort. We left some trail cams everywhere in the place, and we got some white misty stuff passing in front of the camera, and they got it. As Hensley was saying, this is good to have those things, because when you're not there, you can catch up evidence.
Yeah.
I'm working also on another thing with those small cameras, is actually well, I'll tell it to everybody. It's going to be like a police vest, a vest, but on one side you're going to have the camera in the lights, and in the back you're going to have a camera on the light, because sometimes we go and investigate, and some people will say, I feel something in the back following, or
that's actually a good idea,
or I hear footsteps in the back. But time you turn around with the camera, sometimes the things are gone. So this is what I'm trying to focus on. Is
I got that one, but I don't have no batteries or anything for it.
I'll give you the number of the batteries for Heroes. There's you can get
but
those.
It's Hero 3.
You might be able to find it on Amazon for real.
Yeah, you can find those batteries. I think they're 3 with a charger, 3 for $20.
And what I like about it, it comes in like a little waterproof container type thing and all.
Yeah, mine has all that. I actually just sent mine a little camera like that with my little cousin to Florida, so she could go swimming underwater and get videos.
Nice. And then my other camera that I got is like an off-brand GoPro, but it's like pretty much the video is pink unless it's at night.
Yeah, I got an off-brand GoPro, but I mean, my video during the day is nice.
That's that's all I use is that one, because like right now my night vision legit camera that I have 2 videos on there, and I cannot get neither one of them to upload. So
reason why you
have
my
new camera?
Pink
it's my new camera.
Oh, nice. That's a nice camera.
It takes a tape.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, those cameras are cool.
Yeah, see, it takes a tape.
They have amazing microphones on them. The old cameras, Sony cameras, Panasonic, whatever, they have the best microphones on the cameras to capture stuff that you probably won't even get with your recorders.
Yeah, and then I got this one, the old cassette tape recorder.
Oh yeah. Oh nice. You got one of them old ones. Cool, I got rid of the right gin and fluff.
I have this as a camera.
Oh
yeah, I like that. Yeah, I got this one.
See, that's the one I used to have.
I have those types of cameras, but 4K.
I got this one. I got this one. It's 4K. then I got my Sanyo. And then I got two of those little imitation GoPros. And I got my trail cam.
Nice.
Nightenzi, I forgot to show you something. Also, Hensley, I got the new portal.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Actually, those are cool. I tested them this weekend. Last week on an investigation. Pretty cool what they do. But the size is impressive. This is a pack of cigarettes.
That's a big ass pack of cigarettes, though.
That's a king size pack of cigarettes.
Why's your cigarettes got a baby bed on it?
Actually,
I was thinking that.
Actually, here in Canada or Quebec.
Is that the like thing to keep you from smoking?
Yeah. But
they do that in X too.
They have different pictures. One is a baby crib. The other one's different.
Silly pill.
But this is
safe.
This is a life changer. You do remember the big portal I used to have with the skulls coming out and stuff? I sold that one because it was too heavy. It was starting to get too heavy with the bags and equipment I do carry. So I tried to have the less stuff in my bags and stuff like that. So I saw that this is the same guy that builds the FB7, that builds the millimeter and stuff that did this thing. So the company is called Das Paranormal. If you go there, you can buy different pieces of equipment that the guy builds, and also I'm gonna give a shameless plug, but also some TV shows used on their TV shows.
Nice.
I'm about to try to make me an EMF pump, an EM pump. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try to make it.
I tried. I had EMF pumps. I did build some myself. Actually, do I have some clothes? No, I don't have some clothes there put away because I'm changing my office and stuff. But I did some, and I did change them for. I went to Tesla Coil. The reason I went to the Tesla Coil is because some of the EM pumps are done with magnets.
Mm-hmm.
So you get false results with the EM pump when you're next with different kinds of equipment that will make your equipment go off. So you'll get false responses on the things because of that. I would say if you're going to build a EM pump, do it with coils. And that's why that's one of the reasons. Instead of building that, I just bought two small it's called Tesla coils. They come all assembled and they work on 5-volt or 12-volt battery. Does the same job as EM pump, and it's way more safer for your equipment, and also to prevent false like signals on the K2s or whatever.
You can get false readings from the Teslas, though. You can.
You get some. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they're way better than the EM pumps that are on the market.
A lot of people buy EM pumps and they're like, I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna, have it where spirits can come through, create a portal, whatever it is you're trying to do. The science behind them is basically putting in electromagnetic impulsations into the air. It's charging the ions, so it is in the air. So if you wave your K2 in the air or anything, you're going to see readings happen.
But a lot of people also do not know how to use properly
exactly how to use them. So a lot of people will sit there and be like, I'm getting all these cool readings, and it's like, all right, are you getting any voices? You getting any other than just electric impulsations? Are you getting anything else? And they're like, not really. And I was like, then it's probably just charged ions. And
Later,
they get all
Christy.
pissed and bent and that I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, one of my best friends is a NASA physicist. So I know a little bit about energy. I know a little bit about the way this stuff works. So when he was the one that explained to me, like, take your EMF pump and throw it in the trash because it's going to taint everything. And I was like, really, what should I use to help charge the area? Now, what he said was, if you're going to use them, go ahead and go in like an hour or two ahead of time. Run your pump, shut it down, and then when you come back to investigate in an hour or two, you will have a better baseline than you will if you are like running it and then trying to capture something.
Amen. That's exactly how you use.
They're not to be used like, okay, I have it running in the next room, and now I'm gonna bust out my
You're
equipment.
not supposed to have a EM pump when you're investigating. Like Jenny said, you have to have it before you do an investigation, and you have to leave a certain amount of time between when you use the EM pump in the location and when you're gonna go into investigate, because as Jenny said, the eons are still in the air. So you're gonna walk inside those eons with your K2. Your K2 is gonna go. You're gonna say, "Oh, the spirits are here," which is not exactly the case. So,
I mean, it can be, but it also, you have to consider, it's like if you turn the air conditioning on in your house, it's gonna make your house cooler, right? It's gonna make it cold. The air is gonna become cold. So if you go in there with a temperature gauge and you're like, I'm looking for temperature fluctuations,
I think.
well, you're gonna find, because you have have the way ACs work, it pumps cold air in through ventilation, whether it's a window unit or central AC or whatever, but it's through specific ports of entry, right? So you can find cold spots the closer you get to those ports of entry. Kind of the same thing. You're going to have variations. It's not going to be a stable one set degree in the entire house, right? Because we just turned the air on, so we've got this whirlpool of hot meets cold. So you're gonna, that's kind of the same way it is with any of those equipments that are meant to variate the systematics of what would be normally dormant in that area. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You have to, that's why I always tell people, learn your equipment first. Learn what your equipment does, what it is meant to do, and how can it affect you in a positive and negative aspect. You don't read your equipment just because Zach Bagans bought it does not mean you need to buy it. Okay, just because whoever used it on whatever show or whatever YouTuber bought this expensive ass piece of equipment and they got some quote readings with it, okay, that does not mean you need to go out and buy it. All right, because if you don't know how it works, it's like buying a car that you don't know how to drive. It's pretty damn pointless.
Yeah. Definitely.
Amen to that. Seriously, if you, like Jen said, if you do not know how to use your equipment, it's useless for you, but it's also useless for what you're doing on an investigation, because your K2 is so bright when the lights go up, but if it's not a proper reading, you're getting excited and you're trying to bring on people to believe that you're doing something that you're not properly doing. So,
well, that, and a lot of people will buy a K2 that's made, somebody made it, right? This other person made it or whatever. We don't know their knowledge that they used to make it with. So does it mean that it's actually performing the way you think it's performing? No, it could have it could read, like the Chinese K2 meters that everybody says don't buy them because they read wrong. That's kind of the same thing. Like if you buy a modified K2 meter from somebody and you don't exactly know what it is they did or what they used, that thing can go off like crazy, and that does not mean you have any variations in electromagnetic fields or anything like that. It literally could just be going off to vibration.
Well, actually, Sean is talking about something good. Gary Gallagher is actually the guy that built the small small portal I was talking about. But he also, like you said, he spent months and months and months using a piece of equipment before saying whatsoever, and he's building those stuff.
They
And
do.
a lot of people will take like any piece of equipment or anything and do anything with it. So. Well, the guy, Parasolo, the guy that does the equipment for Zach, Zach taps and stuff. There's two guys. There's one, oh Jesus, now I just forgot his name. And one, the guy is Gary Galgo, and the other one is chubby guy, white hair.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. But like
Santa
I said,
Claus.
No, but like I said, these people have learned what this equipment does. They know the science behind it.
Yeah.
At what point it's going to have a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
At what point would it not have a reaction? Now, if I handed you that same piece of equipment and I said, explain that piece of equipment, its functions, its parameters, everything, would you be able to do it? And you'd probably be like, well, it's supposed to light up if I experience this. No, that's not the science behind it. That's the hearsay about it. So
a lot of people.
Go ahead.
Sorry, no. A lot of people, like you said, you're gonna ask them to explain a piece of equipment, and they're gonna say, "Oh, it's to catch ghosts," or "It's to talk with ghosts," but they can't go further. Saying, "Listen, to a certain point, it's gonna give you this, or it's gonna read this, or do that, or you know." They won't be able to go down that road because why? Because they're jumping on the bandwagon.
Exactly.
And they're not doing their proper work, knowing how to properly use the equipment, but also know about the equipment, know the background of the equipment. What does it really do for you on an investigation?
And that's why it's always good to consult people that deal with the manufacturing of electric components, things like that. People that have that knowledge of like, well, yeah, if you use copper versus steel, it's going to have this reaction, and that would actually explain why your piece of equipment is not going off or is overly going off. That type of thing that you probably wouldn't know. A common consumer who just wants to go and have a show. They want to see if they can talk to spirits. They want that bells and whistles. They want the gimmicks and light up. No offense to anybody, but let's be real. I'm a very real person, and I will call things out as I see them. So if you are one of those that's like, I went and bought a K2, but I don't know the science behind a K2 other than it's supposed to detect electrically charged ions in the air. Okay, so what does that mean? And if you don't know what that means, it's kind of like buying a car and somebody saying, is that a V8 engine or is that a four-banger? And what's the difference? Well, one is stronger than the other. Why is it stronger than the other? And if you don't know, some people are going to know the difference between a four-banger and an 8-cylinder engine. But a person that's just like, I want that big fancy car that is loud, isn't going to know, hey, my oil changes are actually going to cost me $160 versus $20 because it's a bigger engine, takes more oil. Or my maintenance is going to be like this, but my car should be performing like this. If I start hearing this, I have a problem. Blah, blah, blah. Some people don't have a common sense approach to things. And those are the people that when I'm watching on YouTube or just anywhere, some of them aren't even on YouTube, and they get really excited over anything going off. And it is cool. It's really cool to see your equipment go off. Don't get it twisted. I'm not downplaying that at all. But why is it going off? What is it about that little box that you have that is going to tell me definitively if you have spirit activity? Somebody mentioned the cat balls, the ones that light up.
Cat balls.
A lot of people realize that I don't like those and I don't trust them. And I'll tell you why. Because it is done off of vibrations, and vibrations can be very, very minute. And they can happen. A car driving down the road 2 miles away can cause an influx of vibration. So when you have the cat balls that have the little bell inside of them, and you actually hear that little bell dingling a little bit, those I tend to trust a little bit more than just the blinky lights. Because that actually is requiring you to have a basal movement in order to produce that sound. So I always tell people I trust those a little bit more. I'm not downplaying anybody's evidence, but let's be real. If you have something that detects vibrations, you have to make sure that you're in a place that is absolutely stable. And if it is not for any reason, you can produce a false reading with something like cat balls. You can produce a false reading with something like the music boxes and things like that, which also are done based off of proximity sensors. So, what is those proximity sensors detecting? Are they detecting movement? Do you know that for certain? Or are they detecting anything? Can it detect a shadow that's coming across? What is it detecting? Because we're talking about spirits and ghosts here. And the science behind them is very, 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 very broad. If you can
like that.
create it at all. So we have to be a little bit more open and not so closed-minded to our equipment. Just because I spent $500 on it and it goes off does not mean that I caught anything. I wish it would mean I caught something because I spent that
Jen
much
was
money,
talking
but
about
it doesn't mean it.
Jen, you were talking about the music box. As you can see, those that have two. This music box was built for me from a buddy that studies those things that does equipment and stuff. And actually, this one has two sensors on it, not one, two, to make it go off. And the two sensors have to be knocked off. They're both at the same time. If there's only one, it could be anything else than a spirit. But the one is infrared, and the other one's a regular pure. Like,
All right, Hensley, brother.
Night, Hensley.
night, Enzi.
I'll invite you. Can come up next week too, Hensley. Next week topic's gonna be nice too.
So
So
you're
yeah,
telling me that, Sean, so you're saying a vibration couldn't cause it to go off? I'll put a cat ball down in front of me right now and I'll put vibrations. It'll go off.
the balls.
They go any type of, it's a sensory movement. Trust me, I know the science behind the cat balls. Spent some time researching it.
Actually do 13 spirits. Laura, what do you mean the lasers? Are you talking about this one? That's a laser grid. If you're talking about this piece of equipment, this is a laser grid. It does the dots, and if you put it in the hallway, it's gonna do dots and stuff, or a room, it's gonna do dots, the dots everywhere. If the dots get how can if a shadow passes in front of the dots are going to disappear and they're going to make a form inside. You'll be able to see shadows. That helps on paranormal investigations to be able to catch a shadow passing or they did stuff like that.
See, I've only done the lasers twice. Dakota had them somewhere, and then we did it at the Airbnb. And
where I like to do the lasers, I like to do them when it's a huge place. I will put a camera and the laser grid on one side and all the other side. Once I'm finished with one side, I'll turn on the other side and turn the other laser and the camera on the other side for that. Yeah, you don't need backlights with the laser one.
Well, I can say that the cat balls, they do vibrate, because we was at the 1 a.m. house and Josh and them, like, you step on this one spot and it makes the floor, and like I'm over here in this room, but every time you step in the spot over here where the cat balls
I'll give
is,
another example about the cat
goes
balls.
off. So yeah,
Another example about the cat balls, you have to be careful. Like Jen is saying, she's not saying it's not good. That's not what she's saying. She's saying to be careful, because I had cat balls in a cemetery. A 45 footer passed like 100 feet from us outside the cemetery, and the balls went off in the cemetery. They were on the steps. They hadn't gone off. But with the vibration of the truck, I could feel the vibrations underneath my feet. So when it hit the stairs, it made the stairs
vibration is movement.
And the balls they lit up. So you have to be careful on that.
Yeah, vibration is a form of movement. Like, it causes movement. Now the strength of it, can cause it to roll or not roll. I'm not saying like the vibration and like that's why I say cat balls are an unstable piece of equipment. It's not a certain piece of equipment. There is no certainty behind it. So, if I have it on the floor and it all of a sudden goes off, and I know that for me, no movement occurred within a certain parameter of it, I can't say that that's ghost activity. Mostly because you don't know the field and parameter around the stimulus of that ball at that time. It's your job as an investigator to determine that, but it's not a stabilized thing. But I mean, hey, show me your scientific proof and prove me wrong, or show me something different. But I don't take word for word on anything. You can ask Fluff that. You have to hardcore prove some shit to me. So
even if you want another thing that I tend not to do is the flashlight. When you unscrew the flashlight, I'll give the same example as Jen was saying. Those that have movement, so whenever you move it, if you put it on the ground or something, and you have a vibration, it could make the flashlight go off. Yeah. So I tend not to do the flashlights thing because of that. Unscrewing, I don't do it. I do it with a push button. That's real easy. I try it with that, but I don't do it with the unscrew thing because of the same thing as the cat balls. You have to be careful with the vibration and stuff. Also, what did what's it called? The when people walk, I'm lost tonight. The name of that piece of equipment is Geophone. Okay. Even the geophone, it works with vibration, so you have to be careful where you put your geophone and stuff, because you can get false reports on the geophone with the vibration of the floors or the building, if the building's working and stuff like that. So you have to be careful. Well, any piece of equipment, you have to be careful on the readings you get, because it could be different factors coming back.
Like when I went to Jerome, Arizona, that's sitting on top of a copper mine. The K2 meters go off like crazy over there. And the locals will tell you, yeah, I remember when Jerome wasn't haunted. And I was like, and you'll laugh about it and be like, well, what do you mean? They're like, it's something that somebody said happened here, that there's activity here, and people go with it. And people are in such a pursuit to have, like, you know what an egregore is, right, Dom? Yeah. Where people believe something's haunted so much that it literally starts having activity. And that is a legit term for those that don't know.
There's actually,
and that's what they assume Jerome is a giant egregore of people thinking like, it's haunted, it has to be because, and maybe it is because people have died there, it's a mining town. But they're like, yeah, no, we never really had any of this. We never had any issues any more than anywhere else, until people were like, no, it's haunted. And now they have like, they have restaurants that are themed after hauntings and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, no, we're on top of a copper mine, so we're a conduit for electromagnetic pulsification, but not necessarily the way that, they didn't, I guess like 40 years ago, like nobody talked about Jerome being a spiritual playground, in other words. So I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, if you do take you do take meters that can detect the electric pulsification between copper, metal, things like that. If you take it to a mining town that's known for copper or any type of material that has ions or actually places a charge in the air, what do you think is going to happen? Your equipment's going to go off. Doesn't make it spiritual? Not really.
Really. But you were talking about egregore. Here at the University of Toronto, they actually did an experiment with outside people. They brought them in the room to do sort of science, holding hands and thinking about this particular spirit that was invented from the doctors doing the experience, and they got actually results in that room. They lifted up a table and stuff, and did a movement in that room because people were so focused on something that wasn't really there. But you can go and punch in Egregore Toronto on YouTube. You'll see the experiment and you'll understand what Jen was talking about.
Oh my goodness. There's a troll coming in, guys.
What's up?
Matthew!
I have to leave because if this fucker's gonna be, I'm just kidding.
Hi!
Hi, brother.
Hey,
How's it going,
sis, how you doing?
I'm up here being common sense-ish, and it's not received well all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know me. I run my damn mouth too much.
Oh, so do I. Don't worry.
We all do.
Yeah, I talk a lot too.
No, I try to keep things open. Open your mind. Don't be so concluded. Don't conclude yourself, because we're talking about paranormal. Paranormal is the absence of a scientific answer to something, and we're going to use quote our man-made science stuff, like, we're going to attempt at this, and call it definitive proof. We have to be very open to all.
Actually, as Jen is saying, you can't take and this is nothing personal against nobody, but you just can't they'll come to the plate and say, oh, my K2 went off, so I made contact with it with spirits. It's going to take you more than that to convince me that you made contact with a spirit. If you just come with your K2 that's flashing, I'm going to tell you, okay, where's the rest?
Yeah. And it's nothing personal. It's literally because if there's it's never personal, and I'll tell you why. Because if we know that there is a chance that can promote a reading that isn't spiritual, we have to debunk it. Mm-hmm. And it sucks. I want to say everything that everybody gets is true, but unfortunately we can't do that. And like Parasolo said with the mag lights, like, because they're able to be triggered easier, it's harder to determine if you're getting like a legit, reaction with those. Yeah. Like the flashlight trick, which half the time I'm like, that one's hard because fakers can fake that one a lot easier.
Hey, Wanda.
Oh yeah. Well,
fakers
here's another thing. Well, here's another thing. Okay, we don't even truly know what a spirit is made out of.
Exactly.
We want to say it's made out of electric energy because our brain waves do electric energy. So they want to believe that the soul is an electric energy, an electric phenomenon. We have no damn clue if that's true or not. We have no clue at all, because when you put an EMF detector against a human being, it doesn't go off.
But our skin is supposed to go off.
Right. But a REM pod will go off when you touch it, but an EMF detector doesn't. But that's because of the close distance. And you have to literally be very close to it with a human body to turn on a REM pod. So it is a contradiction to suspect a spirit is made out of a specific energy,
or one that can be detected.
Right. And there's no ectoplasm. There's none of this stuff that we can literally put into a laboratory and run research on. There's no machine that has ever been made that. Well, let me take that back. There was in 1977 a electromagnetic brain wave reader that was attached to human beings in their sleep.
Oh, like the Doc Brown head thing that he did?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, I remember that.
And it was while humans were asleep. They did it to I think it was like 50 Hindu monks, because they were able to astro project And every time that they were able to astro project, it was able to create an electric voltage through the headset. And that's really the only piece of evidence that we ever have that says anything about a spirit maybe having electric energy in it. And that's it.
Actually, Edison also came out with a pattern almost similar to what you're saying also.
Yeah.
And measure the brainwave during sleep and awakeness and sleepness, and it wasn't. It never came out, but it was also taken. I think it's a British university that are working on that, and they have like different. They're 50-50 on the pattern of the thing. So like you're saying, there's no actually official long research on that spirits do emit. It's the word out there that people say that spirits, since they are composed of 36% of electricity.
Right.
They do tend on believing that once the spirit leaves the body, that the electricity will follow that spirit. So that's why that's where it comes in the mindset of saying that spirits do play with electricity and give out stuff like that. So.
Well, like let's look at it this way: if there was one piece of, even just one piece of equipment that definitively was proven to, show us the existence of spiritual contact in any form, don't you think the person that would have made that would be a fucking billionaire right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't exist yet. There isn't one, and so we have to remove our ego thinking, when it does this, that means it's spirit.
Yep.
When it does this, it means this. No, we would like to think that.
See, me, everybody knows I love my dowsing rods. But if I take my dowsing rods on the USS North Carolina, I'm not going to get any answers because it's on the
You're on a
water.
boat in water.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
you're surrounded by water. Yeah.
I might love dowsing rods, use them almost every investigation, but if I'm on a boat or something like that, it's pointless to use the dowsing.
And people that use them in houses with water pipes in the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
Gonna happen.
Electrical current is running through your house.
Yeah,
Even
they think
if you
I'm
have
really
a
getting
source,
stuff.
if you have a source going underneath your house, you're gonna useful. You're gonna get a false reading with that too. So coming back with again to what Jen was saying at the beginning, you can use those, but you have to be careful on the reading and use them and do your research properly to know what they do exactly. Not just hop onto the bandwagon and see, oh, this guy used it that way and taking those answers because he has no clue of what he's doing also.
Yeah. Well, the next subject tonight, we're going to be talking about Indian burial ground because you know how people always go like Lake Shawnee is an Indian burial ground and all that.
Yeah.
My opinion about Indian burial ground is pretty much the whole United States, Canada, Mexico, everywhere is technically an Indian burial ground or a burial ground if you think about it.
Because we don't know where they've passed away and where they've been entered.
Hey, Ash.
Sometimes in traveling, they just buried you where they could,
Exactly. So, I mean, when people say, oh, I'm going to an Indian burial ground.
During the wars between the native and the English, French, Spanish, etc., they would bury you, as Jen was saying. You died at that corner, you're going to be buried right there. They wouldn't transport your body anywhere elsewhere. They would bury you right there. Natives were the same way. So yeah. I would tend to say everywhere.
Now, if we think about that, like the consecrated, like designated Indian burial grounds are we gonna do? What do you guys think? Do you lend more to that having a more profound energy, like when they say like this is blessed ground by the tribe or whatever? Do those have a stronger concentration of anything? Maybe because there's more bodies there versus like during migration they just kind of bury where they, where you lie. What do you guys think on the the aspect of an actual ceremonious ground versus a non-ceremonious ground, I guess?
I would personally, this is my humble opinion. Doing work a little bit everywhere here. Where I do work in Montreal on the haunted tours and stuff like that. We do walk on sacred grounds and burial grounds and stuff like that. I do feel the energy will be a bit different. You can sense it when you go to let's say on native land. You'll feel more less tense. This is how I you'll be less tense, more relaxed, more I'll give you this example, more like a floating person compared to if you go to somewhere else, let's say Irish concentration place or et cetera, et cetera. It's more heavy. It's more like that's what I feel. Also, well, when I go to native burials or stuff like that, I do tend to do offerings and stuff. I do that in any cemetery I go. I do bring offerings to the spirits and stuff, but I tend to do more something a little bit different, bringing offerings to the native and whatsoever. So yeah.
Here, all right. It depends on the tribe. A lot of these Native American national burial mounds and everything, the tribes are no longer there. They are not in that part of the land anymore. They have been moved wherever. The traditional Native American burial grounds were to call upon your ancestors for help, for protection,
Right.
to bless the land for a better harvest, stuff like that. But 90% of these burial mounds are not on the real reservation.
Right.
They are not on because they were moved everywhere. So those mounds are full of confusion and anger because they do not have their blood around anymore to serve their purpose of what they're supposed to.
Right.
So a lot, and especially, and I hate saying this, but so many white people walking around doing investigations and everything on Native American land, and you're going to hear demon, you're going to get things thrown at you, you're going to get hurt at these places because they are protecting that quote unquote land. It's anger and confusion from hundreds and hundreds of years of displacement. I mean, and that's why you get such a weird vibe and a feeling out of it. And a lot of the Native American mounds are losing their power because the true descendants are no longer around. Their bloodline is no longer around to give honor and
Right.
you know,
I
you know,
I experienced that a lot in Arizona when I was living there. And they will fight the state and the government because randomly, they excavate to build property and shit and, modify the land all the time. And they'll find bodies in the development. And the Apache tribe just not that long ago, it was when I was living there, which wasn't that long ago, fought to keep it as a quote quote ceremonious land, because there was, I believe, 4 or 5 bodies located in this one area, and they were like, no, build what you're going to build around it, don't disturb it. And they're like, well, if they're your body, and like the state or the government was like, if they're your tribe, come let us excavate them, place them in your ground. And they're like, no, we don't do that.
Right.
And we cannot do that. When I started my funeral director career in California, but immediately moved into Arizona, and when I got to meet the tribal chief one time, he asked me if I would like to come experience the way they perform ceremonious funerals. And it was a very huge honor for me to be able to go do that. So, of course, you know me, I was like, heck yes, I'm coming. And I kid you not, like, their funeral services are so elaborate and so precise. Like, it has to be a specific way. And I mean, it's not like it's, you know, they have to have flowers and blah, 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 and it has to be in a church and pretty. No, it's very raw, very earth, very land and spirit is what I can say it as. So it's not all about like, I have to wear specific clothing. I have to do, no, nothing like what we do in America or anywhere else.
Yeah.
And the way they value the land, if you're being entered, now most of the time they will be cremated, but if they are being entered for whatever reason, they are very precise on what can occur in that area, in the way they honor things. And I won't really divulge too much more because of for, you know, their closed practices. I will keep that as closed as possible. But what I will say is, the way they determine whether ground is pliable is so remarkable. And that's why I say, you know, a ground that they have deemed appropriated for burial or for anything like that versus something like during migration of any sort or during travel of any sort, you know, we're talking hundreds of years ago, where they had to bury as they lay, or at and tour, you know, at that specific point. They have a big thing about lost souls.
Hi, Sherman.
They have a huge thing about lost souls, and yet they don't have control over that. And you can see the literal, when they were talking to me about it, you could see the literal like pain in their face about, and not, I dare I say fear, but it's not fear. It's just a very,
like a loss.
Yeah, like they just, you know, and they value it so definitively that it's like you feel it just talking to them when they explain these things about the old traditions versus now and stuff like that. So and that when I had asked them, like, you know, what do you think about people walking on quote consecrated or sacred land, and they said, well, we wouldn't do it, but people do it. And that's how that's the exact verbiage that they say.
Yeah. And you know, like my tribe, you know, my tribe is the Northern Wolf tribe of Cherokee. And we didn't bury our dead. We literally left our bodies out to be taken back to nature. Like, we allowed nature to, like, how nature would grant us, if we killed a deer or whatever, we used every part of that deer. And we did the same thing with our dead. We would leave the body out and let the wilderness take us back. Let the animals feed off of us and let our bones go to the 4 winds. And our soul was supposed to be returned back to nature once from where it was created. And you know, that's why I say every tribe is completely different on their burial techniques, and not every, you know, yes, you may find Cherokee bodies or any other tribal members' bodies or whatever in different locations and stuff, but a few different sects of the tribe were completely different in how it handled. But I just what I was taught and everything was the the spirits are angry because, for one, the bloodline is no longer around.
Yeah.
Half of the tribes are literally extinct, and what few people do have some existing blood of the last remaining tribes is, not even a percentage, let alone, anything. So that, I'm sorry, it's a subject I just don't like talking about.
I saw
It
that.
yeah.
You're fine. You're good. I think you provided a lot of information.
He did.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they are to invest, to me, in my opinion, to investigate quote quote Indian burial ground. We'll just blanket it with that term. When people sit there and go, "Oh, this is a Indian burial ground," and I said it kind of like half-heartedly joking and stuff, but
Right.
when we say that, like, those to me are the scariest damn places to go, and it's not because I'm afraid of spirits. I am afraid of Indian spirits. I will
Yes.
point blank throw that out there because those can be some of the most strongest energies I have ever encountered. And I am fearful of them because I've seen what they do to protect their land spiritually. And I've seen them, everywhere else could have a natural disaster around it. Like in my area, we have the fires. And that that tribal ground was the only area not touched. Everything around it was gone. But that tribal area was saved. Because they said they were out there doing their dances and all this other stuff, and they were like, "We're protecting our land." And I don't care what science you follow, there was no rational explanation for how that occurred. You almost have to believe in the spiritual component to the tribes and their connection with their ancestry and that bond that they have of protection on the ground and protection in the air, protection in the sea. I'm sorry, they scare me because of the power that they have.
Oh yeah.
They do scare me also. We have, a lot of people hear me talk about the most haunted mountain in North America here in Montreal. Actually, this mountain is a old volcano that erupted, but the first natives that arrived in Montreal 9,000 years ago took residence at the hill of the mountain. Now, presently, there's a football stadium built on top of that. Also, there was a sacred place for the Algonquins to be buried on top of that mountain. They dug that burial ground to do artificial lake.
Yeah.
And they're asking themselves, why do people see angry Indian spirits on the mountain and they get pushed and stuff like that?
I wonder why.
Yeah.
If I was
And
an Indian spirit, someone did that, I'm pushing people in the leg. I don't give a shit.
And plus the white people, as said, they opened 4 cemeteries on the mountain with 2.25 million people buried there. So mix all that together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Ugh. Well, the next topic, because I think we got that. That was actually really, really good right there. But the next topic is, can humans cross into portals?
Matt crosses into a portal every morning.
I know he comes to my house every morning, but that's a totally that's a nub hub story to tell right there.
I cross into Matt's portal anytime he's around.
You leave Matt's portal alone.
No.
But I have heard.
We haven't heard Fluffy all night.
You don't need
Except
preparation H. He can use Neosporin. It works the damn fucking
Oh
same.
my god!
You would know.
But I have heard, and I can't remember where, but somebody was telling me about a portal in New York that you can walk in and it'll take you into the woods of California. I don't know how true it is.
What had happened was I was visiting New York. I got really, really drunk one night, and I needed to get home.
Well, if you can do that, why did you drive all the way from California to pick me up? Why didn't you just go to New York?
You know what? I was drunk.
I heard of
Captain Kurt and Mr. Spock were with me, dude. You don't even want to know what happened that night. We went to Matt's house.
Actually, Nubsy, I heard about.
Hell yeah.
I heard about what you're talking about. That tunnel. It's apparently it's a legend, but also there's rumors that the U.S. military are working on some type of thing. We heard about the Philadelphia experience about moving from one place. So I would tend to say that if we're hearing echoes about the U.S. government being mixed in those things, I would take that with a grain of salt and say
that's up there with the Denver airport tunnels, that type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I would say there's maybe part of the of a story on that, and part is like.
I do believe
I saw a black cat cross the street. Then your cousin is gonna say, "Hey, Uncle saw a black cat get across the street and got hit." And then the next one is it's like the Arab the telephone. So it's gonna start with a little bit of something, and it's gonna go to extremes.
Because I do believe in like portal houses and stuff like that. Because the first time I went to 666, there was this house that was there. You could see it, the front door, old creepy house. Well, the person we were with was like, no, don't go in there. Bad stuff will happen. So we didn't get to explore in there. Well, the last time I went there, on the way back, it was like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. The sun was shining and all that, so you can see. There was no foundation of the house, no sign that a house was ever there. But we saw that house.
That sounds like something I saw. Granted, I saw it on TV. Is that true or not? Who knows? But and to bring this person up is always controversial. But Marilyn Manson talked about having an experience just like that.
I remember
where he was reading from.
Actually, if you go on YouTube, yes, you're right. Marilyn Manson spoke about that, but there's also a thing where a whole city saw a new city in broad daylight in China.
Oh, right. I remember.
They could see buildings, they could see cars and stuff like that in that city.
And then it was gone.
And in a couple of hours, there was nothing more. Nothing
but
there.
He talked about.
It was the City of the Sun. It's a part of the Wukong legend.
Yeah,
that
there you go.
Whenever Wukong comes back, the City of the Gods will reveal itself, and
that's what they associated
it
with. Yeah. No, but Marilyn Manson had talked about where he was when he was young. This was before his spooky kid days, where he was in a house that he was dared to go into. I don't know verbatim the story, but I remember this part where he was reading from God, I don't remember the book now. Like an H.P. Lovecraft book. I want to say it was. Do you remember the Necronomicon? And he was reading those, the verbiage in it, and he said that he experienced being in this house and that there was all this red and all this other stuff. And the next day they went to go back looking for the house, and it, like you said, Nubs, no foundation, no divot in the land, no nothing, no evidence of this location whatsoever. And that always sprung an idea in me because at a very young age, I was so interested in the Bermuda Triangle conspiracies, which since we're speaking on humans pass into these portals, it is believed that is one of the most profound portals.
Yeah.
And so if we pay attention to the lore of that and things going missing, you're almost lending to believe that, yeah, we can pass through portals, as can objects like cars and planes and boats.
Yeah.
If you subscribe to that methodology.
That's true. I've always
believed in the triangles. As you're talking, we know about the Bermuda one, but there's also the
one in Alaska and
Devil's Triangle.
I think there's 7 in total on the globe of those triangles.
Ripley and Ghost Dot.
Also, where Atlantis was is supposedly a triangle. Also, like
ain't that the Bermuda? Or am I wrong about that?
No, it's called the Red Sea Triangle.
Okay.
Yeah, it crosses Persia. The red one is Persia, Iran,
and somewhere close to Greece.
Going down to Africa, not far from
that.
But I mean, you see how massive these things are, and yet we lose planes, boats, people into them. Even fairly recently, we still lose things into these
391.
Yeah.
Take the Panama flight, the 391. It was on news for weeks. They couldn't find it. It disappeared in thin air. But they can't explain it. They haven't found wreckage or stuff. They think they had found some, but it's not that. So where is that plane? It was full of
thing is, being over a large, deep body of water, they're always like, it's probably in the ocean. We just don't know it. But some of these, the water isn't that deep to where they couldn't. We don't have it's to not say that we don't have the equipment that could detect for it. We have the equipment that would be able to go that far down with sonar to be able to at least get some glimpse of if there's a wreckage there that hadn't been there before, but they're not finding anything.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's interesting.
I actually,
it's a little bit like the boat that was gone for 93 years and reappeared. Nobody was on the board, but the boat was back and rested.
Yeah.
Tried to explain that. They searched that boat for years, never found it, and cuckoo one day it was in the water right in front of them.
Yeah, they call that glitches in the matrix, but quote.
We have one case here. It's more a spirit boat that they call, but we have one in the Maritimes, a boat that actually on a certain day, if you're on the water, you could see actually the boat in the water on fire. But actually, there's no boat. If you go with a small boat to go to that boat, you
won't see nothing.
You're gonna continue your way, and you're gonna pass it. There's nothing. There's no wreckage. Nothing. Nothing. But the boats, a lot of people have them on picture where you can see a boat is on fire in the middle of the ocean, but there's nothing there.
Oh, that's
it's just like one of the Russian cruise liners that went missing like 20 years ago. It completely went missing from the dock and everything. There was over 1,000 people on this Russian cruise liner. 20 years, it was like 18 years later, it comes 1,000 miles off the Russian border and everything, and they go and find the boat and everything, and on it there was over 1,000 rats all over the boat. No humans or anything, but it was all just rats.
That boat actually is on its way to is presently on the shores of Africa with rats aboard. They don't want to go on that boat because it's infected with rats and stuff. So I heard about that story, Matt. Yeah.
But they say that the humans turned into the rats. That's the thing. Like, there was 1,000 people on the boat, and then now there's 1,000 rats on the boat.
Oh, there's more than that now.
Oh yeah, I mean they've been breeding for what, 8 years, 9 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but I mean, just to think about that overall, it's like, wow, it's crazy what we don't know.
Well, there's a legend that's been going on ever since Native Americans about a white staircase will appear to people alone in the wilderness.
I've heard that one, yeah.
And it usually appears to people that's hurt, injured, or lost. And if they climb these stairs, a gateway opens and they disappear.
Actually, it's funny you're talking about that. Well, everybody knows about Stairways to Heaven, the song.
Yep.
It was partly composed based on that story exactly.
Yep.
So
that was definitely.
Huh?
They. Sorry, did I break up?
Yeah.
I broke up with you.
Okay, sorry. But even our Native American ancestors, they talk about the veil. They talk about the ley lines, but in North America, where the veil is the thin water-like, like it's like a thin glass that you can walk through. If you're pure enough of heart, you are able to cross over the veil into a completely opposite world than what it is. We are living on the chaotic side of the veil, and the true world is on the other side.
Yeah.
But only a few people are ever allowed to cross over that veil. And they talk about Sasquatch and, a lot of Native American cryptids and spirits and stuff can go back and forth through the veil. And
yeah, well, they're absent of ego or anything like that. Right. They're pure beings.
Yes. So, but used to our ancestors were able to cross through the veil, but
I think we've ruined
arrogance and everything. Yeah, I mean it stopped us from being able to do it. But then you go across the waters to Europe and Ireland and all the European countries, and they talk about ley lines, and they also, and even the Native Americans say that when we die, our spirits are sent back into the veil, into the healing waters of the world, and our purpose after life is to use our energy to heal the earth. That's why the earth that's why it always rains. That's why there is even though we have droughts and everything, but our water levels never drop. But it's it's us that are supposed to give back to the world, and we're supposed to follow this life force to help the world. And I mean, there's so many different things on this subject. Hey.
And there's people that think that, or not think that, well, I guess it is their belief, that natural portals or nature portals, things you find out in the woods, stuff like that, caves, that you can pass through them. There have been accounts of people saying that they've passed into something which is almost like what Matt was talking about, a through the veil component, where the other side was still the same land, but it was more vibrant, clean, absent of pollution or toxicity, things like that. So it's interesting. And there have been accounts of people saying that they've passed through them and returned, things like that. Yep. Is there any way to definitively prove that? No, but,
So kind of like the veil, I mean, it's similar to like the Stranger Things where they go to the
upside down or whatever.
Upside down and all of that. Kind of similar to that.
In Native American legends, the way that they talk about the true world is a world that is mythological in a way. I mean, everything is in harmony. Everything is perfect. There is no death on the other side. It's a continuous cycle of living. But like what Jen was saying, they in the Grand Canyon, in I want to say it was 82 or 83, there was a group of explorers that took burrows and everything and went all the way down into the bottom of the Grand Canyon and was walking around looking at caves and stuff. And they came to one cave and they went into it and they found Egyptian artifacts and Greek artifacts that were in the Grand Canyon in a cave system that still to this day hasn't been fully mapped out or explored because it is so long of a cave system. But they wonder, but somehow there was Egyptian artifacts and ancient Greek artifacts like Greek armor and Roman armor and Roman gladiuses and all this stuff just in this cave system littered around it. And they don't know how it got there. They don't know because there's never been any reports or anything of this magnitude. And they want to believe that somehow that there's a connection to this cave system to the other side, across oceans to other lands. But it hasn't been mapped out yet, so who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real interesting how, because there's no logical explanation to it. Like, how would all that get there and go undetected and stuff like that? Like, it makes you lend to the belief that there has to be something that we pass through. Yeah. Whether people say teleportation, some people say portal. I think it's all kind of in the same algorithm, dare I say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've always, because that house of 666 always had me thinking, like, I was like, I know for a fact it was there. I know for a fact I've seen it. Everybody that was with us that night seen it. But ever since I've been back, and I'm like,
Well,
maybe it's
there's
certain nights or something you have to go or something like that. That's what.
Could be.
the way that y'all are
Hey, that's
explaining it.
awesome, Dakota.
The way that y'all are explaining it, there is a elder god story, the King of Red, that supposedly lives in a house of red, and the house of red never stays in one place longer than a day, and it disappears to another location. And the if you are lucky enough to enter into the house, the King of Red will possess your body, and you will be the inheritance of the King of Red's power.
Damn it, Nub. See, you should have ran in that house.
I should have.
Yeah.
I could have been the king. I could have
I
been.
mean,
Could have gained 2
it-
million
You'd have
subscribers in one day.
King Red. The King Red Nubs.
right? I mean, there's a lot of those elder god stories and everything that talk about a lot of different things, but you know, the King of Red has a house that literally appears in one location and disappears the next day and can be somewhere else completely across the world. And it's never in the same place twice, ever.
That's intense.
That is
Yeah.
definitely interesting.
But also, it's the god of madness, so, I mean...
Well, the Nubs is kind of crazy, so...
It's true.
I am
It is
pretty
true,
bad. I am pretty bad in the head, like. But another thing I wanted to talk about past life, because I always seeing people talk about, oh well, in my past life I was this, or my past life I was that. Me personally, I don't know if I believe in past life like that, but I'm also not gonna turn down the theory of it either. Like, hey, Dragon.
In my line of work, we get a lot of people wanting to access what is called their Akashic record, which is basically
I've heard that.
In layman's terms, it's a reading. It would be like a form of a reading that deals with your past life. And and people use their Akashic record to basically determine their purpose, their directional of who they were in the past or who they're supposed to be in this present life. So to believe in past life is to believe in reincarnation. However you decide to terminologize that is up to you, but basically it's, layman's terms, reincarnation. So if you don't believe if you're following a faith that doesn't really believe in reincarnation, then past life would not be something that really flows through your belief system heavily. Being Sikh, I was raised Sikh in the, most people, it's an East Indian based faith. We are very strong in reincarnation. That is, what is determined when you die, you're already going into your next phase of life cycle. And we have that faith of, accessing our Akashic record and knowing where who you were who you're supposed to be, all those things. But there's some people, when you get into those psychic realms, and yes, I read tarot, yes, but do I believe in psychics? You have to really prove yourself before I will ever label you as a psychic, because psychics they're really, really good in basic human psychology. And if you're really good in basic human psychology, and I mention you had a jilted love or an ill-requited love and you start tearing up or tensing up, I know that I've got you. I know that I've basically chipped away at an area of you that is true. So I'll, they'll keep going with that and they'll be like, yes, your ex-lover, he wants to tell you he's sorry and blah, blah, blah. When they're not really psychic, they're just playing on your emotions. And I see that shit all the time.
There's a lot of those people around. But you were talking about past lives and stuff like that. Some people do what we call regression therapies.
Yeah, past life regression therapies.
Yeah, to go in a past life. I'm also a type of guy that believes in reincarnation. I do believe there's something after this cycle. I call it cycle of life. I do believe there's something there after. To try to explain to people what it is, I can't really. But yeah,
I do believe we go on. Like, we came from somewhere and we go on. I don't think we just go dormant. We just don't go lights out. I don't think we do that.
Well, actually, we do go lights out, but it's for like this life cycle.
Yeah,
it's like a battery. It's like a battery or something. Once a battery is completely empty, you have to recharge it or recycle it. Some people are going to say this guy is stupid, but I do feel a little bit it's like that. Is your body is a temple or a vase or a vessel, call it as you want to, and stuff. Your spirit is the content. Okay, so once your body shuts down or vessel shuts down, your spirit's going to move on. You're right, because spirits or energy, you can't kill that.
It doesn't dissipate, it just transfers.
Yeah, it transfers. So your spirit is going to move on from one vessel to another vessel. So that's called the cycle of life. That's how I tend to see it. Not everybody does see that way, but I do believe in reincarnation and past life and stuff like that.
And my dad described it to me as how plants die or take on a form of death in the winter, and that same plant will revive in the spring. That's the way he looked. He kind of explained our internal energy compass, not so much our body, because once that body is gone, I mean, we all know for certain once our bodies are gone, they're either buried or they're burned, or they do water cremations now and all that. But if anything, we return back to the earth, is what most people are comfortable with the term. But as far as our energy, now what happens with that? A lot of people believe that we cycle into something else. Some people believe you can be reincarnated into animals, trees, the clouds, the air. I mean, it's endless. It'll be interesting to see what does happen to us when our time comes. I will say that. But people me being in the tarot and metaphysical realm and strong in that community, been doing it for over 23 years, a lot of people believe that they can, they have regression from their past life. Like you say, there's therapies for it. There's some kids that say, I was not like you see them all the time on TikTok where the little boy's like, I remember falling from the Twin Towers, and he's 4 years old. He doesn't remember 9/11 at all, but he has this memory in his head that's deep seated in his head that he was this man and he was on the building and he remembers he has vivid recollections. And they believe that children, because they're in so close proximity cycle wise to their previous life, that they have that memory recollection stronger. Now, this is a theory. I have no science proving it otherwise, so it's all theory. But a lot of people do believe that small children, they think they can see spirits easier because they're without ego and they are so close into that time lapse. Purity. And I think once you get to it's like trying to remember what happened the day you were born. None of us are going to remember that, right? I don't remember what happened the day I was born. I have some memories about 3-4 years old is about as far back as I think I can go. But to think of it as like your mind has to be so crisp,
My favorite
close.
Hey, but
Hi, my vamp. You have to be so crisp in that strength of your mind to be able to go back not only to the beginning of this life, but furthering back into the cycles of your previous life. So there's some people that say they can do it. I think it's kind of far-fetched, but I guess it's a possibility. But it's very interesting to see when the small kids, and they're barely learning language, and they have these recollections.
Yeah.
I just do think that it's far-fetched for a certain part. As Jen was saying, also I did read and a lot of stuff, and actually 2 cases came up to me, and that were like mind-boggling to me and make me think a little bit more. One case is a little girl that got killed when she was young. When she came back to the life that she was there, she brought the police to the attention of the police that a body was there, and that was the killer of it. And she got the killer that killed herself. Nobody knew about that story. Another boy, he was from Scotland. He moved away to Britain, and he was sitting in the living room with his mother, and he told her, "You're my second mother." And she was going, "No, I'm your first mother." I think Jen, you know about this story. And this little boy was describing his old life and telling where he would live on this particular island and stuff. And the parents got not scared, but they wanted to know what was happening. And they went to that island. And in fact, the young boy, he could name the name of the dog of the owners there, the house and stuff. And so,
yeah. I saw that somebody said, they mentioned deja vu. Deja vu and past life regression are different. They're not the same thing.
Yeah.
Deja
vu is like reliving an account.
Yeah.
Or,
that you didn't know you had until you went through that account again. That's deja vu. Past life regression is it's just like remembering something that happened to you when you were young. That type of systematic. But they're remembering it as their former life.
As like
deja vu is like the movie.
Example, what Jen is saying, let's say, example, you lived 7 lives before the life you're living now. A regression is you're gonna be able to say, "Oh, in my 6th life, I was a mechanic. In my 5th life, I was a surgeon. In my 3rd life, I was a soldier. In the 1st life, I was a king or a queen or whatever." You're gonna remember each single life.
Yeah.
And like Jen said, deja vu is just like it's like a spark saying, "Okay, I already did something like that, something similar."
And when you have it, because I've had deja vu where I'm like, did I remember? Like I was eating something and I knew I never had it before. There was no way I had it before, but I had a vivid recollection of being in that restaurant, eating that item. So and you literally you will stop in your tracks and be like, "What?" Whoa. Yeah, and that's what deja vu is.
See, my past life, I was the king of Planet Nubzilla until they took me over and killed me and all that, and now I'm here.
We're happy you're here, man.
That was over 2,050 million years ago.
Nubs, you were Jesus, and you still have your beard.
I was Jesus. Now I am Jesus on drugs.
You ended up losing a few fingers coming into this life, but
yeah, I am Jesus on drugs now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys.
We're gonna have to dip you in holy water for saying that.
Right.
But yes, deja vu. If you watch any of the Final Destination movies, that like they have that vision or whatever.
Like
that's
that flash.
similar to deja vu.
It's like I would say a deja vu. I'm not gonna say it's the same thing as a premonition vision, but it's almost similar. It's in the main, like the main central of vein of premonition vision. as a deja vu. You can put them. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but you can put them in the same path.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's typically stuff that you're, viewing in the sense of what you've lived in this life, not in a past life. It's like I said, you could be walking into a movie theater, and all of a sudden you're like, I've been here before. I've seen that person. I've experienced this smell, this taste. And I saw this. I saw this before it happened. Like that's why I said almost a premonition, but it's like you were there. It happened.
There has
And now
been
you're reliving
rare
it.
occasions. There has been rare occasions where people have been to certain battlefields or certain areas of the world and had a past life deja vu, where
it does. You're right. It does happen. Like you said, that people are gonna have a deja vu of their past life.
Yeah.
You can go on YouTube. You'll find some people talking about those stuff. It does happen. It happened to a lady. Actually, two people. One was a firefighter. He was in the cleaning up of 9/11. He was in the papers. You can see him. He has a scar here on the face. In his past life, this guy was a army soldier where he got cut at the same place, exact same size of scratch, stitches and stuff like that. Exactly, his face is exactly the same thing. You go on YouTube, you see people like Nicolas Cage that has a person in the late 1800s, Putin, the president of Russia. They brought up pictures of him being in different kinds of wars. That if he was there, he couldn't be here presently with the age and stuff like that. So it does happen, Matt, a lot.
Yeah, it's like an influx of a memory.
Yeah.
Or a recount of something. So
I mean,
it's interesting.
The human mind, 90% of people only use like 8% of their brain.
Bye, Laura.
There is so much space for a reason inside of the human brain.
I'll be back.
You're good. Now, it depends on your religion. It depends on your religious upbringing, stuff like that, on how a lot of things happen. Like me, I was raised to believe that when we die, there is no next life. There is the next life, but there is no continuing on into another shell. Either A, you become a part of the life force of the earth, or B, you become a wandering spirit and you become a protector spirit. And that is your job in the afterlife, and your job is to spread your knowledge and your ability to teach to somebody else. Nice. But
okay, I saw
that was just a glitch in the Matrix. Don't mind me.
Well, not 3 times. I see you 3 times, so I'm going, what the hell?
It's just a glitch in the Matrix. Trust me.
I don't know why the other 2 are still up there.
Because there's 3 of you gotta have 3 of me for all 3 of you. That's just the way it goes.
You are the bestest.
Yes.
But yeah, that's interesting about past life. Like I've never thought of it like that, like reincarnation and that being the same. But yeah, like
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a belief based systematic. So is there right or wrongs with it? No,
heck
there
of
can't
a
be. So, there's no way what I believe is the, concrete, or what Matt believes is the concrete,
Yeah.
bar none. There's no such thing, like
What
until we.
What I do say is the right thing. I'm joking.
you're a
But-
Cowboys fan.
Well, you know what, Dom, you're not King Red, okay? That's nuts.
But when I died from my diabetic coma and everything, when I was 3.5 years old, I can tell you from my personal experience, it was darkness. It was just darkness. And then I heard a voice saying, "It is not your time." And that was it. And I woke back up on a gurney going to the hospital morgue. So, and I mean, does that mean anything? No, it doesn't. But that is my experience.
Right.
But after that experience, growing up, I did have multiple dreams. I still have dreams to this day of different events in the past. I was a French soldier during the French Revolution. I was speaking.
You telling me
French.
that actually?
Yeah, I was speaking French. I understood French. But if Dom speaks French to me right now, I don't know a damn word he says. I've had experiences where I was in chains to men in armor, and I was their guide, and I ended up sharpening a hip bone of an animal that they killed and sharpening it on a stone at night and killing every single one of them with that bone and used it as an axe. I've had experiences where I was on the Trail of Tears. I've had experiences in South America, different languages, all this stuff that I could understand, but I don't know any of it after I wake up. But is that because I died? I don't know.
Right. No, when I had my surgery, when I was having my kidney removed and my heart stopped, I remember when I woke up in recovery and my father was like, "What were you talking about, or what were you saying?" And he was smiling at me, and I was like, "Why?" And he was like, because my father could speak Punjabi. He didn't teach any of us kids, but in my sleep, I was having a full conversation with my dad in a language I never spoke.
Right.
Like a direct conversation with him, like to the T. And my dad was like, he asked me, "What were you saying?" And I didn't have any clue on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an experience almost similar to Jen. Also, I spoke to my grandma in Italian. My Italian sucks real bad, and I was having a full conversation. I wasn't awake to like now, but I was having a full conversation back and forth with my grandma. When I woke up, she started to speak to me in Italian. I couldn't understand sweet fuck off. Well, a couple of words here and there, but to have a full conversation, I couldn't respond properly to her. She couldn't understand what was happening. A lot of people will have those experiences, talking different languages, doing stuff that usually they wouldn't do normally. it could be drinking something, eating some type of food, different reactions that they would not usually do when they're in their regular state of mind or body. That stuff will happen.
But that's another thing. I experienced smells. I experienced pain. I experienced everything that, and the person wasn't me. It was another body. It wasn't my body. But I can experience everything that they were going through. But when I was coughing because I was in World War I, and the person that I was suffocating from mustard gas. And I still remember the smell of it to this day. And my wife woke me up. Miss Star woke me up because I was coughing so much and I could not breathe. And, and when she woke me up, I ran straight to the bathroom and I literally threw up blood. So it's weird. It's weird to explain it, because there's no proof of it.
Even
yeah.
even if you had proof to explain those things, I'll give you an example. At the age of 12, I got hit by a car. I was left to die on the side of the road. That's when I got my first paranormal experience with an entity. I was talking with somebody. I saw lights, bright lights and stuff, and a lot of people. And this guy came and talked to me, and it's similar, a little similar to you. He wasn't saying it wasn't my time, but he was telling my mother was waiting for me. He was going like, "It's gonna be okay, son. Everything's gonna be okay." And in my head, I was going, "Why is he calling me son?"
No,
I don't know that guy. Actually, after talking and describing the gentleman that I saw, it was my great grandfather. He died the same day I was born. He died at 5:12 in the morning. I was born at 6:12 in the morning. So he was gone for an hour when I was born. I never met that gentleman, my late grandfather, and it was talking with my mother about this gentleman because the police and ambulance were asking what happened and stuff. I couldn't remember nothing except this guy. I kept on talking about this guy. I met this guy. He was telling me to go see my mother, etc. To figure out it was my late grandpa, the grandfather that passed away the same day I was born. But at the same time, the experience I got, like you said, you're talking about a black thing, and it was saying it's not your time. Me, it was like if you take a big spotlight and you flash something by somebody in the face, you're gonna go like or too much sun. You're gonna try, and I was in my thing. I was like that, and like I said, he was. I could feel the touch of him touching my shoulder and saying, "Listen, your mother's waiting for you. Go see your mother. Your mother's waiting for you. Go see your mother." So he told me that I did that about 4 or 5 times, and then I woke up. I was in blood, bone shattered in the bodies and stuff. And I got with that like rush of things. I got up and walked almost a mile to my house, and I lost conscience in front of the door. But it's different. Another experience.
I'll be right back, Sam.
Another experience that I had was different than that experience. I got stabbed, lost a lot of blood and said and whatsoever. And that experience was different than the first experience. It was totally different. The image I had in the back was nothing of light or black. It was just like it was like pictures going fast in your eyes, and you can't settle on the picture that you're seeing. So so it was quite different.
I didn't have any of that. It was just darkness. It was just pure black, and just a voice that said, "It's not your time," and that was it. And like, I didn't. I guess because I was 3.5, so I didn't have that much memory or whatever of experiences, but it was just like a game over screen, you know, like it just goes black, and then, you know, all this other stuff started happening when I was young, you know, like I'd go to and it wasn't every night. It was maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And now it's maybe 3 times a year. But Miss Star will tell you, it's like I'm always fighting something in my sleep. I'm always, like, she was asleep beside me, and I put my fist through the wall right above her head, and she always tells me that I'm always fighting something in my sleep. I'm always fighting.
I had that problem. I had that problem like last year during health issues. Every single night, I would speak to a certain person and tell her, "Listen, I had awful nightmares. I would get nightmares, and it was like different stuff. I was seeing stuff. I was seeing people. I was seeing not just human people. I was seeing creatures. I was seeing stuff, and and sometimes I would wake up all sweaty and like had problems going back to sleep because of that. And that was like on the regular base. It was daily. If I would go to take a nap in the afternoon, I would have nightmares. Nighttime, I would try to sleep, nightmares and stuff. And that was for a certain part of the time. Then slowly it started dissipating. Now I do have still some nightmares, some freaky nightmares like I used to have, but like you said, it's like maybe example, I'll have one Monday, I won't have done one for 2 months. Then it's gonna be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then an extended time before getting those ones. So yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's very interesting. Like I like learning about this stuff and all that. But the last subject we're gonna be talking about tonight is animal spirits, and what is your animal spirit?
I do believe in animal spirits.
I do too.
Before having an experience, I was on the thinking of, if we do have spirits, human spirits, why can't something that's living, an animal that dies and stuff like that, they live also, there's a spirit inside them, so why can't they come back? And I always thought about that and thinking, and one of my greatest catches, if I want, is a spirit animal. It's a cat. I do have the EVP. It's on YouTube if you want to see it too. It's on video and also EVP. It was in Gettysburg.
I remember that.
We when we got to Gettysburg, when we went to investigate, we had a full hotel for ourselves. Nobody inside. We were 2 people inside that hotel. We went to, to like anybody that wants to get more information or more stuff on Gettysburg. We took what we call a ghost tour. I tend to, when I go to a certain place, if they have ghost tours, since I'm doing that, I tend to, to help them out and take a ticket and listen to what they do and stuff like that. So we took a ghost tour in Gettysburg, and they were talking about spirits of cats and animals and whatsoever. So I was going, oh, that's pretty interesting. We're in a good place, war stuff. There was a lot of, bombs here and there, and, animals got killed. Also not just soldiers and stuff. So getting to our hotel, we're in the room. We're doing an investigation. We have equipment everywhere. I have a K2 at the end of the bed with a SB7 spinning, and we're asking questions, and the K2 is going nuts. So I started asking questions. Can you tell me your name and stuff like that? And all we hear on the EVP is a cat going meow. We go down to the basement another day. We go down to the basement, which was a funeral parlor. Back in the day, it was also a field hospital, as a lot of big buildings in Gettysburg. But we're in the basement doing also EVPs and stuff like that, and we're about 7 people now in the basement, and we all 7 heard the cat from our ears going meow, and there was no cat in the building. So I tend to believe that animal spirits do exist. And that's my humble opinion. You can talk to me about if you do not believe in that. I'll still listen to your point. But for my belief, I do believe in spirit animals. So now coming to my spirit animal is a falcon. Yeah. So it's.
I believe in them too. And mine's an eagle, like straight up, an eagle or a turtle.
Yours is a sloth. What are you talking
about? Mine is a sloth. I want a sloth.
Yeah, next week's topic is gonna be interesting too, y'all. So.
My spirit animal right now is Yogi the bear, because I keep eating every damn thing that is in front of me.
You're about me. Since later on, I've been eating candy, chocolate bars and stuff.
It's all your fault, Dom. I'm watching you eat.
Usually, I don't do that. Usually, I don't. Well, I eat a little bit, but when I got home from work, I haven't eaten at work because we were busy. So I was eating with Nubsy and Hensley on the live, and I was still hungry. So I have some small berries. Red berries like this, and
I'll give you some small berries, Dom.
You got dingleberries.
Except mine's gonna be brown.
No, I was eating like carrot sticks, and I was eating carrot sticks, and I was trying to be good. Then all of a sudden, I saw Oreos, and I said, "You know what? We about to get dirty right now."
Oh, now I'm craving cookies.
But
I didn't say shit. No. I believe that if humans can become spirits, then anything that's living could respectfully become a spirit, one would assume. I think that because humans have more ego attached to us, and the sense of unfinished business, if you will, or things like that would, give us that segue into a choice factor, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Granted, I don't know what the components of becoming a ghost are. I don't know what the prerequisites or anything. I didn't go to school that day for that. So,
oh no,
join the club, Jen.
But I would think that, if a human could, any other being with a respectful soul would be able to do it too.
Yeah, like me and Dakota, we got that picture of that phantom cat at Avondale Plantation. Matt live stream one time there was a phantom cat in the live stream that everybody saw. Like
2 of them.
So yeah. So I mean, yeah, like
well, they say that at Chernobyl that they do see a lot of animal spirits there.
Yeah.
from what happened. But
I
in
also
San
got a
Diego,
ghost pig.
yeah, in San Diego at Presidio Park, we have a ghost deer named Lucy, and she's buried there. She has a monument and everything, and a lot of people see her. And she used to just roam around there. She was a free roaming white deer,
You want?
and
Yeah.
she got killed, and the people were so upset of how she got killed that they were
That's a
like, no, she's being buried here, and they still see her to this day.
I'm gonna
That's a
have to
spirit
send
of
you
the
a picture.
forest.
That was I have a picture. It was taken in a military fort in Ontario, Fort Henry, in Kingston, Ontario, and they have a glass where they put artifacts on the other side with control air and stuff like that. So we were taking pictures through those glasses, and before we were taking pictures, we washed the glasses to be sure not to get stains in the glasses and stuff like that when taking pictures. On the other side of the picture, we have a ghost of a fetus, a small baby.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, when we saw it, we never saw it from our own eyes. We never saw it on camera. Once we started to, to go back to through whatever we picked up that it's crazy. Another picture in that same museum, in the room next to that room, we have a head coming underneath a bed, coming out as a ball of like an orb ball, but you can clearly see it's a head. It's not an orb, it's a head. I'll send you the pictures so you can see them. It's pretty
My
crazy.
spirit animal, on the real, my spirit animal would probably have to be an octopus.
Nice.
And the reason I say that is, number one, they're sneaky as shit and don't like to be bothered a whole lot. That's me. And I love the water. I could literally, the highlight of my day is when I get to go take a shower. I'm like, I'll stay in there for like an hour. I love swimming. I love baths. I love showers. I love being in the water. I'm deadly afraid of the fucking ocean though, but go figure. But
Right.
I would somebody once told me you relate so much to an octopus. And I was like, how and I was almost offended at that, because who the hell wants to be an octopus? And I was like, how do you figure? And they're they're clever, they're sneaky, they can get out of any situation.
Actually,
And
an octopus. They did surveys and whatsoever in universities, and actually an octopus, everybody says it's clumsy and stuff like that. It's one of the most intelligent animals on the planet.
yeah,
Yep.
that's what
It's in the top 5 of the animals, the most intelligent animals on the planet.
they're just clever.
Mhm.
And so when I was compared to that, I was like, I almost can't get offended by that. I wanted to at first, because I was like, who wants to be an octopus? And then I thought about what an octopus is, and their intelligence levels, and their demeanors and stuff, because they're kind of feisty. They don't like to be messed with a whole lot.
They'll ink on you.
And they're one of the few oceanic creatures that, if you catch it, it can get away. It will find a way to get away, and they're strong. And I'm like, I'm down with that. I'm an octopus.
They can literally crush clamshells.
See, the reason I say mine's
Actually, if they grab you properly by the hand, they can crush human bones.
yeah.
Yep.
I said mine's an eagle, and that's only because if I have a dream about any animal, it's an eagle, flying and soaring. And
Well, I was saying falcon because I was told by somebody that was my totem animal spirit.
I know what Matt is. Matt's a wolf.
No,
he's not. He's an ostrich.
I like ostriches.
And on some days, he's a peacock.
I want to be.
I love peacocks.
I want to be a peacock.
A peacock.
Peacocks are amazing. They can do most. Did you guys know that peacocks can fly?
Yep.
Yes, they do.
And they scream too. I scared the shit out of my kids one time because my friend, she has peacocks nearby, and when my daughters were little, they would hear them yell, and they're like, "Mom, what's that?" And I was like, "Those are the screaming banshees." That my kids wouldn't go outside at night because of it.
Slim.
They used to fly up
Hey,
and
Slim.
get into the trees and stuff.
Yep.
But they're
There's
so beautiful.
in my sister-in-law's neighborhood, there's
Hey, Slim.
there's
Lucky
wild
Slim.
peacocks that walk around, and they're all the time up in trees, just like staring at you, like you're
Yeah.
disturbing them. Like
Actually,
They're so moody sometimes. Like, I
a
love them.
bird that I didn't know that it flew was a turkey.
They can't. They don't like fly like way regular birds fly, but they can take
Yeah.
height.
We had one turkey here next to the school.
Hey, that's just Matt. Oh,
He was on top of
Yep.
the well, we call it Christmas tree because the guy has his lights like 24/7, 365 by a year, so we call it the Christmas tree. But he was completely on the top of that tree, and it's about 70 feet in the air.
Yeah,
Oh,
they can take some height.
I was going, what the hell is that? I go, Jesus, that's a wild turkey. I go, what the hell is he doing there? That's when I realized, and I'll be honest with you, it's about a couple of months ago. So since that, I didn't know that turkeys flew.
Yeah,
but
turkeys can take some. They can take some height. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it tastes good too.
I've seen when I used to guard the Onion and Huebner house over here in San Antonio and everything. I literally was driving down the dirt road and everything to the place, and I saw this white mist come up from one side of the driveway, and this skeletal like horse, but the mist around it looked like flames flickering off of its body, and it seemed like it was jumping over the road, and it just turned back into mist on the other side of the grass and just disappeared into the grass. And I've also had another encounter in Chattanooga where during the Civil War and everything, the very first African American owned what is it called? Coach station. It was burnt down during when Sherman took over Chattanooga and everything. And me and a couple of friends was outside taking pictures, and I took a picture of one of my friends, and there's a horse jumping through the window, like where he was, like it was jumping through him. And it I mean, I've had to tell you the truth, like if we go by like experiences with animals, I mean, I've had horses the most times in my life I've seen. So
I've heard that, especially on going back to tribal land, where any tribal area, they say that the horse spirits come through like the strongest.
Yes, they always do, because
I've always wondered why that was. Like, I've always tried to establish a connection why that was. But I think it's just because they are so akin to, like, they're so knowledgeable. The horses are smart.
Yeah.
And they're just so majestic and everything that I think, like, in that sense of like how us humans would want to roam our land because it's our land, I think horses have that same sentiment.
They do. Yeah.
In that regard of spirituality and continuing to, because imagine, like, a horse loves to just gallop and go, and imagine being a spirit horse to where like it's infinite for you now. Like, how beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's one of those. It's one of those things, there's I've seen, and I've heard fox spirits. I've heard foxes in areas that foxes shouldn't be.
I just remembered something. I'm gonna try to find a picture also about a horse, but with Indian and his full war
Yeah, the war
everything.
guard.
Yeah, his war guard. You can clearly see on the picture they're all in smoke, but you can clearly see. You can define the horse, and you can define the Native American on the horse with his war thing. So I'm gonna try to find that picture and send it to you guys.
That's awesome. I mean, everything, like not going. I mean, to go back to the last subject and everything of like reincarnation and stuff. You know, there was a police case in I think it was San Diego, California in 1975, and there was a what is it called where they sell flowers and everything?
Florist.
Yeah, a florist, and it was owned by a Vietnamese couple, and they were raising their son and everything, and their son didn't want to be a florist anymore, and he wanted his parents to sell the place, so he came in and literally murdered his father and everything, so he could inherit it to sell the shop. And supposedly when he died, when his father died and everything, there was one African flower that was there, and the father loved this plant, and they could not find out who killed the father or whatever, but until one detective was in the crime scene and everything, and the son comes in and starts talking like he doesn't know what happened and everything, and he's looking and he sees this African flower turning towards the son, to the child, like it knew the sound of the voice of the child and was turning to him. And he thought it was, crazy or whatever, but there was no witnesses or anything except for this flower. And he literally put the flower in a room and had the lineup and everything, and he had people talk for 2 minutes, and the flower didn't react to anybody except for the son that was talking, and he was at the very end, and the flower literally turned the whole entire face of the flower towards that the sun, and that was the only evidence that they had, and they even proved it in court and everything, that the flower would turn to the sun, and they arrested him on the charges of a flower being the only witness. And people think that flower was either the spirit of the father that possessed the flower, or if that flower did have a soul and actually knew what was going on.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a really, really interesting read. You need to read it. It goes more in depth about it, but
Nice.
yeah,
That's definitely interesting and all that, and that's where I'm gonna end it tonight. I do appreciate everybody coming on panel and everybody in chat.
That was cool.
always sorry I was late, y'all.
Oh, you're
No,
fine.
you're not.
Oh, good,
You're
Matt.
not sorry. Just kidding.
But next week we're gonna be talking about voodoo, different type of the occult activities. different types of demons,
We're gonna let's see me.
Yep.
Different types of gens.
haunted attachment, and the benefits of paid locations versus the benefits of free locations to investigate.
Yeah.
So I got a few different things coming up, and then I have to come up with episode 9.
I have something for the next episode after.
There we go. I was gonna say we got to come up with something for the next episode, but
The next episode after that, we're talking about Dom's collection of used lollipops.
yes, and Matt's
Awesome.
collection of used condoms, but that's a totally different story, guys.
That's scary though.
I'll be
only from
on
the
that
weekends with nubs.
But I appreciate everybody that came on panel. Hensley, of course, TAROT&TEA, and Fluffy, and Shacking
Did
Star
you just call me
Survival.
turd?
TAROT&TEA.
No, if it was anybody else, they'd be dead right now.
We got Dom, 13 Spears, the French Canadian, and also a Cowboy fan. And then we got me, the 7-fingered Jesus, weird Bigfoot looking guy.
You don't look shit like Bigfoot.
Not anymore.
He's Bigfoot's bastard son.
Yes,
He's
I
the
am.
wish.com.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm the wish.com of Bigfoot. But I love you all. Thank you all for coming.
Love you
And
all.
Thank you, guys.
hopefully I can do my nub reacts this week because the past week we had storms every single day and my internet was crappy every single day but today, thank God. But
Jeez.
hopefully I'll be back with my nub reacts. Got Paranormal 101 episode 8 next week if everything goes correctly. Got us 4, and then we're gonna have 2 more epic people. So be ready for that. And
I should have
always
the first video of my web series out this week. Hope you guys enjoy it if you watch it.
Nice.
Thanks again, everybody in the chats coming out, everybody on panel. It was such a great evening. Thank you, Nubsy, again for having those evenings of discussion where we can talk, bring out our opinions, and not be criticized or
and learn the big
arguments and stuff.
learn.
We're here to learn. We're all learning. We're all students of this, and this is.
There are no masters.
And then I will have my haunted Airbnb investigation starting at 11:30 p.m. Eastern tonight, which is Saturday night, of course. But Saturday night, and then at 12:15 a.m. Sunday morning will be part 2. So it's going to be late night, but it's going to be
also tomorrow
worth it.
Hensley's life at what time is it again?
I think 10 or 10:30.
Is that the OG special?
Yeah, OG special live stream.
OG
tomorrow.
special.
And then
Tomorrow
Sunday,
night. Excited.
TAROT&TEA will have her stream. And when are y'all doing y'all's survival and tea?
This Sunday at 11:30.
Sweet. You get a double dose of tea.
So be ready for that. It's definitely epic. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, we will see you guys tomorrow night. Love y'all.
And don't forget to stop at Dollar Tree and pick up your limited edition dollar store Nubby box.
Yes. You will get a miniature nub in there, Nubby, and a miniature
wait.
finger.
You gotta go to the candle section and get your colored scented wax.
That is
to
true.
lock your nub in it. And it can only be opened in the year 2044.
Yes.
If you open it before that, you get the dollar store discount Dybbuk.
And if you open it after, you get Second Star Survival.
Yes.
There's also,
and by then he's gonna be old and crotchety, and you might not.
If you hurry up in the next 6 hours, if you do get there in the next 6 hours, you'll have the special edition of Nubsy in his swimsuit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
the premium edition.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, that's
and
awesome, Slim.
you get a secondary prize of a Dom and a Dybbuk.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So y'all
Or-
definitely need
or
to do
you.
that.
Try to be there after 6 o'clock, not to get the Dubuque and this guy.
But I love you all. Thanks for
Or else
coming.
you're gonna finish like this, no more
Yeah,
hair.
we don't want to be Mr. Clean. But I love you all. Remember,
The what, Jen?
Love you, family.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
stay paranormal,
Oh yeah.
Keep it scary.
stay real.
Make sure you're hairy.
Hail Hydra.
Yes.
Bye, guys.